The entire world is now on high alert following United States strikes on Iran. It's now been about 12 to 13 hours since the United States launched strikes targeting three Iranian nuclear facilities, and I have all the latest. This morning, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, and Bahrain, three countries in the Middle East near Iran, are placing their forces on maximum alert out of fears that the conflict may draw into their territories. Remember, the United States has military bases in the region, and Iran has said that it will target all Americans in the region, both civilians and military personnel. This morning, according to Reuters and Press TV, the Iranian parliament has approved a measure to close the Strait of Hormuz. Folks, that would be a significant escalation as 25% of the world's oil passes through a checkpoint in the Strait of Hormuz. If that strait is closed by the Iranian government, it still has to be approved by Iran's security apparatus, then the price of oil around the world will skyrocket. Everyone will be paying more for oil. Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, spoke this morning for the first time following the strike, saying that the operation is not open ended, but U.S. forces will respond if necessary. Asked if he's worried that North Korea or China or any other country may join forces to retaliate, Hegseth did not rule that out, instead responding, quote, "Unfortunately, because of the policies of prior administration, we drove those countries together." Now, I barely slept last night, so please consider supporting my work by subscribing to my Substack, clicking the button below, or sending a one-time donation to support via Venmo to Aaron-Parnas. Vice President J.D. Vance is saying that the United States does not seek regime change in Iran, saying we're not at war with Iran, we're at war with Iran's nuclear programs. The world is reacting. China has accused the United States of violating international law with the strikes on Iran. Iran's foreign minister says Iran reserves the right to respond and accuses the United States of violating the UN Charter, international law, and the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. NYPD and Washington, D.C. police have deployed additional officers to religious institutions after the strike out of genuine concern that there could be some type of incident here in the United States of America. Iran is warning that the United States attack is outrageous, will have everlasting consequences. South Korea's top security officials have met to assess the regional impact, while North Korea accuses the United States of escalating tensions. The IAEA reports no increase in off-site radiation at the three targeted Iranian nuclear sites and is currently monitoring the situation. Russia condemned the United States strike, saying that they violated international law. Iran's National Security and Foreign Policy Commission is set to hold an extraordinary session to discuss possible responses. Democrats on Capitol Hill are demanding answers from Donald Trump, with over 55 supporting a resolution that would limit his power to strike Iran. It's unlikely that this bill would ever get to the House floor or to the Senate floor, simply because Democrats do not control the majority. In addition, General Kane, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, described U.S. military deception tactics this morning, saying that the fourth and fifth generation jets used as decoys before B-2 bombers struck targets. A lot of people have been asking me, what are the odds that Iran strikes the United States mainland? The odds are none. The Iranian government does not have missiles long enough to strike U.S. homeland. The Iranian government does, however, possess the power to strike U.S. military bases and U.S. military interests in the Middle East. And so that is what we're going to be watching. Number one, we're going to be watching whether or not the Strait of Hormuz is actually closed. And two, whether or not the Iranian government responds by targeting U.S. military bases in the Middle East. If they do that, then the United States will be forced to respond once again and strike Iran again. In non-Iran news, because the world still is moving forward, a 68-year-old Mexican-born man, Abelardo Avelanda Delgado, died while being transported from Georgia jail to federal detention center, becoming the first ICE detainee to die in at least a decade. His death highlights growing concerns as private companies with little oversight are handling detainee transport. He had lived in the United States for 40 years, was arrested for a parole violation. He was healthy prior to his detention, but deteriorated rapidly in custody. The Senate parliamentarian ruled that a provision restricting federal courts' ability to issue injunctions against the executive branch violates the Byrd Rule and must be removed from the Big Beautiful Bill legislation. However, the proposed AI moratorium banning state level AI regulations for 10 years will proceed. Texas has enacted a new law requiring all public school classrooms to display the 10 Commandments. A similar law enacted by Louisiana actually failed in front of the Circuit Court of Appeals. So we'll see what happens next. That's all the news right now. I'll provide you updates every step of the way. It's going to be a long day, so bear with me. Subscribe to support and follow along for all the news you need to know about.